3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, it's Russ and Bo 2.0 in 2020. I cannot believe it. I'm Russ Rollins, host of the program. I got 265 pounds of screaming, stealing, sex appeal. The big man, Bo Rollins.
Rise up! Damn it, man, did I have a good time at the chili cook-off yesterday.
Ryan Holmes here with us. How you doing, Ryan Holmes?
What's going on, fellas?
It's 2020. We have not done we haven't done a podcast in a month.
In a year? All year? We ain't done one all year.
This whole year, I know. Yeah, we haven't, people have been asking me, "You're going to bring it back? Going to bring it back?" Yeah,
we never lost it. We've just been sleeping.
Busy. Things are going on. It was the holidays. Didn't want to, whatever.
But now we can catch up from the year. What we did since Christmas.
Man, there's a lot.
I know. I didn't really do a lot except work, but the stuff I did stood out. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, we had decided that we weren't doing any more big parties here anymore. We're like, you know what? We did a
Thanksgiving went so well.
Thanksgiving was a complete cluster F, and so many people and a lot of it just. And Mary Ellen looked at me and she's like, "Hey, do we have to host everything?" And I'm like, "No, baby, we ain't got to." And we didn't. I basically stayed home for 2 weeks and hung out here, and I was sick most of the time. And then we got to talk about my near-death experience.
You big punk. Well, you remember when you got this place, you're like, oh, yeah, we're going to host all the holidays, and families going to come here. If they want to see me, they got to come to my house.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the house looks good. And we're doing today's podcast from Russ's living, dining, bar area.
Yeah, it's the Triple R bar.
And, of course, we got Scotty York in the house, our business manager. And, this last month, all I've done is work. I mean, for whatever reasons, I didn't get my time off. I didn't get much of this. I didn't get much of that. But
you like to work, though.
I do like to work. I'm not a workaholic, per se, but if I'm not going to be doing anything, I might as well be working.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So,
are you back in the swing of things? Like it's 2020. Are you back in the swing of things?
Well, again, I never really lost the swing as far as work goes.
The swing was still going.
Yeah, the swing was swinging. So, but I realized today when I woke up, because I finally got to do something not work-related, the chili cook-off.
Yeah, we did that yesterday.
The only day I had off pretty much the month of December was Christmas, and I didn't do anything but hang out with the wife on Christmas. So, but yeah, today I woke up this morning refreshed. Last night and this morning was the first time I'd slept. I'd slept in. I'm feeling great. Now my year can start.
Like in radio, though, when you take off for 2 weeks, you're like, oh, my God. I mean, you come back, you got to make sure you got momentum still going.
Yeah, which you haven't missed.
We hit the ground running, we really hit the ground running well. But the first day back was a lot of fun. But on that day, when I woke up that morning, my leg was swollen up. It was all swollen up. And my wife wanted me to go to the doctor or to the hospital that morning. I'm like, no, I'm not missing the show. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I ain't missing the show. I got priorities, goddammit. And
because you sort of want to die on air.
Well, I mean, if I die, that's where I want to do it, right? Exactly, Ryan. That's
I'll talk.
And that's what you call dedication.
I respect it.
That's dedication. Yeah. But no, she kept actually even the day before, because the day before.
Some people might call that narcissistic, but I mean, he'll call it dedication. We'll go with that.
Thank you, Bo. That's why you're my buddy. The day before we had our first day back to work, I had to go out to the Mecum auction and take my dad's car out there. And I want to thank Eddie Bird and Scott York, because without them, it never could have happened. But we took the car out there, and my leg was really killing me.
Here's what kills me. I set all that crap up for him, and he doesn't even say, hey, Bo, good job. Because I told you to call Eddie Bird weeks before, because Eddie Bird is my brother-in-law. Eddie Bird is an ace mechanic. Eddie Bird volunteered for it. But you're like, oh, yeah, Eddie Bird. Good idea, Eddie.
Are you claiming that I did not call you and say, hey, man, thanks for sending Eddie. He was awesome?
Yeah, you did not.
I most certainly did.
No, you did not.
I most
because
certainly
you would have
did.
told me about the blood clot then.
On the drive over,
because
I
you're
did.
a big old punk about that blood
Matter of fact,
clot.
Scott York was in the car with me.
Scotty, did he tell me thanks for getting Eddie?
Yes, 100%.
Scott.
Yeah, on Wednesday when we headed down there.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn sure did. So
Wait a minute.
Without
we
Eddie,
were in the car together.
I said without Eddie, it wouldn't happen. Thank you for hooking it up. I told you that twice, knucklehead.
Okay.
The little fat boy needs attention.
Yeah, exactly. The fat kid needs love, dude.
Christ
what the
almighty.
hell? You're talking about dying. I need a little love, too.
Well, let me tell you who sweated their ass off and worked their ass off. It was
Scotty York.
Scott York.
Scotty York is a badass, and we all know that.
And
my
Eddie
brother-in-law is, too. Eddie Bird rocks. There's no doubt.
You want your credit.
No doubt. No, I want cash.
Okay,
We're family.
Anyway, So while we're out there doing it, my leg is all swollen up, and I can barely even walk. And I hate it because I want to help out and do everything I can do, but it's starting to really hurt. Mary Ellen's like, you got to go to the doctor. I'm like, no, I got to take care of this. And then, well, you got to go to the doctor. No, I got to go to work. So after work, I'm like, I'll just go by the doctor and see what the hell's going on.
And didn't Eddie and Scott both tell you on Saturday or that day to take your ass to the doctor? 'Cause that's what I heard.
On Sunday, because Eddie had just had experience with a blood clot in his calf.
And they're talking about blood clots, and you're like, no, I'm Russ Rollins. I'm Superman. Nobody can bother me. Nothing can hurt me. I got to work. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go on the air.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have been terrible though if he died at the chili cook-off though. Less cool.
Much less cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I go to the doctor, and as soon as I walked in the doctor, she looks at my leg, and she's like, she's a Indian woman. She goes, you must go get scan a stat, and I'm like. No, I think that was a Chinese person, but whatever. I don't think we do Indian. I don't do a good impersonation.
I think of one impression, and it just sort of sounds like that.
you must go.
Just sort of racist.
Yes.
You must go to a stat.
I'm not liking blood clot. You got to go get stat.
There you go. That's good. Yeah.
I am not liking clot. You need to get scanned.
I go to the scan, and the lady starts scanning the inside of my leg, and she's like, oh. I'm like, what the? And I'm trying to joke around, right? Mary Ellen's with me. I'm like, what? You find some gravy in there? Making a joke. And she's like, this is not funny. This is a big blood clot.
So the closer she got to your penis, the more she was saying, "Oh,
no."
See, that's where I would have went.
No, she started here.
Told you, Mary Ellen, that thing looks good on the inside.
She started here and went all the way down to my knee, and she's like, it's blocked up all the way down there. I'm like, oh, that's not good. She's like, yeah, you could die. And I'm like,
Nice.
What? Now she says to my face, look, you could die. I'm like,
oh, Mr. Rollins, you must die now.
Which this one wasn't
she
actually
wasn't
Indian.
Indian?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd I do? Was my Indian better?
Just as racist.
This one,
equally racist.
actually, the lady that was doing the scan was Puerto Rican. You do Puerto Rican?
No.
Anyway, so she's like, don't move. If this breaks loose, you're
Hey, Poppy, you got to go to the doctor, Poppy.
Don't let
it. If he breaks, it's going to be bad.
That's pretty much what she said.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey, Poppy. Is my best player.
Yeah. I like that he said no, but then he thought about it and was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot.
I appreciate you trying. Yeah.
I love the eye, Poppy.
So,
hi, Poppy. This is big. This is grande, Poppy.
So I'm like, okay, listen. I got to go to work tomorrow. And she's like, you're not going to work. You're going to a hospital.
No, Poppy, you're not going to work.
And Mary Ellen's like, you need to let people at work know you're not going to be there, and you're not going to be there for the Meekum auction.
If you tell me I was part of a group text, we're fighting right here on camera.
Oh my God, you're such a baby.
I am. I'm a bitch
You're
in the
a
new
little
year.
bitch about this
I
stuff.
am.
Well, no.
When it comes to you dying, yeah, I'm pretty much a bitch.
First thing I did is I got hold of Scotty York because I know anyone that's going to take care of you don't have a driver's license, you can't drive, and you're not known for your punctuality, okay? So when it comes to reliability,
I might have slept through it.
Who's more reliable, you or Scotty York?
Absolutely Scott York.
Thank you. So I made the right decision. So I called Scott York first, and I'm trying to talk to Scott, and I started to cry because the lady just told me I'm going to die. And I'm like, Scott, just make sure you take care of this, and I don't know what else I said. I'm like,
He said, make sure you take care of Mom, make sure that car gets sold.
That's
right.
It. Yeah, and I'm like, they're taking me to the emergency room right now. And I started to cry a little bit. Then I called you.
Right.
And then I said,
I didn't answer.
You did not. So, yeah.
Why, because I was busy?
I don't know.
I was working.
So then I put a group text out to everyone on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, guys, because they were all saying, hey, that looks really serious. You shouldn't be at work. I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm fine.
I got this.
So,
you don't know you're not doctors.
So
I don't listen to them anyway.
I sent a text.
Hi, Poppy.
I sent a text to everyone on the show, and I was like, hey, guys, what I showed you today was a lot more serious than I thought. I got to go to the emergency room right now. And if this thing breaks loose, today could have been my last show. Please take care of the Meekum. I was worried about the Meekum auction. I wanted my dad's car to get sold,
Right.
Mom
and Dad's car.
Yeah, whatever.
Mom and Dad's car.
And then everyone gets back to me except for Ryan Holmes.
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm from the Bow Road School of Texting. I'm busy. I got things to do.
You didn't text me first. I'm not replying.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I get the text and I read it and I'm like, what the hell? So I pick up the phone. I stop what I'm doing. I go outside. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And you're like, bro, I'm at the doctor's office, and
They be quarantined
this.
like you're going to the emergency room now.
They got this big blood clot, and if it breaks loose, I could die. And
They
I'm
told
like,
me that 3 times.
and I'm going, okay, where are you? Oh, I'm at the doctor's, and I got this blood clot. And then he starts freaking crying.
Yeah.
Now, I've known Russ for all of our adult lives.
It was scary, man.
I mean, I have known, and I bet you I've seen him cry twice. When Nanny died and when Dad died.
Yeah.
Other than that, Russ Rollins holds it all in. He don't cry. He don't bitch. He don't complain. Well, he does bitch and moan and complain. But he doesn't outwardly show a lot of feeling. And he starts crying, and he says, dude, just make sure the car gets taken care of. Make sure, and listen, if I die, know I love you, and take care of Mom. Yeah. I'm like, this sumbitch just told me he loves me. This is serious. I said, all right, where are you going? No, I don't know yet. I'm close to a hospital.
Well, I didn't want to tell you because I knew
like,
you'd run down there and there was nothing you could do.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, where are you going? Oh, I don't know. I'll let you know when I know. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in a little bit. And then, just like you, because the Scotties are the rock in our world, Scotty, what are you doing? Did you hear from Russ? Yeah, I'm getting in the shower right now. I said, are you picking me up?
How'd you know what hospital it was?
We didn't.
We didn't at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we text. Yeah, so he says, I'll be there shortly. I said, okay. Now, everything going on at work, I walked straight up to my boss, the owner. I looked at Brian. I said, Russ just called me. I think he's dying. I got to go.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and goes, he's dying? I said, he's evidently got some blood clot. If it breaks loose, it's going to kill him.
That's what they told me.
I got to go. And he goes, okay, sounds good. So that's what Brian does. He's like, okay, sounds good. So Scotty shows up. I blow off everything at work. Like, people are trying to talk to me. I'm like, not right now. Not right now. My friend's dying. Not right now. So I didn't want to tell anybody what was going on. So Scotty shows up. We get in the car. He goes,
You're taking a long way around it.
I know.
You're taking a long.
I think I died during this story.
A long ass story.
Jeff Howe story or what?
Yeah.
well, screw you guys. I'm done.
Okay, good.
I didn't mean to interrupt your story of dying.
Right. So,
I'm nervous you were dying. Let's go there.
When they get me into the emergency room, I'm in the actually surgery room with the lights and the whole deal, and then the doctor comes in and is like, hey, we used to do surgery for stuff like this, but now we've got these super blood thinners, Eliquis, and this is all you got to do. Take those and go home. And I was like, well, shit, I just told everybody I was going to die.
Right.
This is
Yeah,
embarrassing.
it's very rude that you didn't die.
This is quite
I don't
embarrassing.
appreciate you not even having a near death.
But you don't understand, they had me set up to I was going to be in the hospital for a month. If it breaks off, you're dead. I mean, it was like scary, scary, scary. And the surgeon comes in and he's like, I just take these pills and go home. I'm like, God damn, that's
For
embarrassing.
you to say I don't understand. Me and Scotty are sitting in the damn ER waiting room, and we get the text, they're sending him home. I'm like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Don't worry, next time I ain't calling you.
He
Gets me
gave
out
us
of work.
He sends us all a text, and he essentially gave us chores if he died. Like it says, Gus.
Yeah, right.
The issue I showed you today was my right leg is very, very serious. Turns out blood clot from my groin down to my knee, very unusual.
That's what they said.
I'm being rushed to the hospital now. If it breaks off today was my last show. And then he goes, please take care of the Meekum people.
Yeah.
No, if you die, we're doing a show about you dying. We're not broadcasting live at Meekum like Russ is dead, buy a car.
I wanted Meekum to be taken care of because Mom and Dad's car was a big deal, man.
Yeah. So I rush over there thinking you're dying. Then I get you're not dying. And then we go have a beer. So good job.
There you go. So that's
Good job. That's the Russ is dying story.
Yeah.
But
did you find out if you could drink on this blood thinner?
You're not supposed to drink on blood thinners.
Well, he didn't have it. He didn't have it yet. They just prescribed
No.
it.
But now I have. Now I'm on these blood thinners, and I guess they're super expensive, and you might have to take them for the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah, and they figured out what it. Well, I say figured out what it was. There was a report that came out that said people that have been taking replacement testosterone are getting deep vein blood thinner, blood clots.
So that stuff's been good for you all this time. Huh?
Oh man, yeah. Now I can't take my testosterone. That sucks. That sucks. That means it means my testosterone goes down to 50, and I cry at every TV show that comes on.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I know.
That'll be fun. But you know what? After you almost died, I'm sitting there and I start thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm working all the time, and I need to, and I like to, and it's something I want to do. Then I started thinking, when he says it's his last show, my new nickname will be Russ Last Show Rollins for him from now on.
How funny is it? In my mind, though, at the time, that was one of the first things I was upset about because, I want my last show to be a really good, and it was a good show that day, but like that just shows how important the show is to me.
Well, not only that, I started to think, there's been sayings out there like the Gator football coach one time said, dance like nobody's watching to his team. And I think like that. And then sing like nobody's listening and live every day like it could be your last. So that's kind of my new thing. I'm going to dance like nobody's watching. I'm going to sing like nobody's listening. And I'm going to continue to live life like it's my last.
Man, you sound like a notebook from a 13-year-old girl.
You know, you almost died. What am I supposed to do?
So we did go to the Mecum auction.
Imagine what happened if it was Scotty. We'd
did-
all been depressed.
We did take the car to the Mecum auction, and I got to auction it off, and that was amazing. That was an awesome, experience.
The whole experience was cool.
It went for $34,500, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, I would have thought a car like that would have gone for more." What is crazy is the same kind of car. It was a '56 T-Bird on the day that the Bullet car went.
Right.
There's some of the cars that were just like Mom's, and it went for $75,000, like double the amount.
Right,
But there's more people.
But 45 minutes before your
Yeah.
mom's car goes across, there's a 56 T-Bird, white one, that goes for $17,000.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't know. There's no way to tell.
It's all willy-nilly.
You never know. But, I mean, I
The
told you.
Bullet car went for $3.4 million.
And I saw that piece of crap. If I was appraising
Yeah.
it, I might have gave him
That was a
$1,500.
junky car. I mean,
I might have gave him $1,500
Well,
for auction.
It's just because
The story.
the movie, and the story, and the whole thing.
And my boy Mac, Mark McDonald called me last night, and he was asking me about it because that kind of stuff interests him. And I said, "Can you believe that hunk of crap bought 3.75?" And he goes,
3.4.
Oh, 3.4. Yeah. I'm
Well,
like you.
by the time that they add in the 10%, there's a lot of news articles that you're reading. It literally says 3.4 in the article, and then says 3.74. What they're adding is that 10%
that the buyers got to pay.
that the buyer has
Yeah.
to pay.
So the
Technically,
Mecum
that's
was-
what they paid for it.
The whole Mecum was cool, getting to see some of these high-dollar cars that I never really see, like McLarens and Porsche Spiders and all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But in the lane where we were with Mom and Dad's car, there was some cool vehicles running through there that we got to see up close and be next to.
Oh, yeah.
And, you got your car washed finally.
Yeah, man.
Russ pays a guy he never met before $350 to detail the car, and they didn't look at it.
Well, no, here's what happened. When I checked in with the Mecum auction people, they gave me the card, and they said, "Hey, this is who we are using here at the Mecum auction. They're certified by us. They're using our products." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. Call them, and they'll hook it up." So I called the guy, and he comes over, and my leg was killing me that day, so I was sitting at a table. He goes over and looks at the car, comes back over, and goes, "Yeah, you need to have it buffed out. You'll be really happy if we buff it out, and that's $350. I'm like, "You know what? Buff it out. Let's make it look beautiful." So when it pulls around about an hour before it's going to go on stage,
We're in the staging lane.
it still has dust on it. They didn't do anything.
They didn't
So
look at it.
I call this dude Leroy, and I'm like, "Leroy, you didn't do nothing." And he comes out and with his buddies, and they wipe it down. And honestly, it didn't need to be buffed.
It did not.
He was
You were
screwing-
getting taken.
He was screwing me.
Yeah.
So it's safe. He didn't charge me. He
Perfect.
gave us $350 back, and then they wiped it all down. So.
Yeah, and it looked good, and then Mom got to bang the gavel.
Yeah, our
which is
mom-
kind of an
That's
honor.
really cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of a big deal.
And I got a video of it, which is cool. You can see her doing
Yeah,
it. So.
and
Man, I
she's-
watched some of those Bel Airs roll through though, because that's the other car, the car that got stolen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, $100,000,
Oh, yeah.
$150,000, and these bidding wars that would take place for that car.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
Dad's was worth every bit of it.
Yeah, my dad's car that was stolen by that loser here in town, it was worth about $120,000. So, but what that guy did was, it's called Just
Toys Classic Cars.
Classic Cars. He sold it to somebody in California and didn't pay Dad.
I'll tell you.
I hope.
when that whole
and he
thing-
screwed a lot of people.
When that whole thing went down, Russ is like, "Bo, we need to go down to South OBT," and I was like, "Okay, come get me, let's go."
No,
and
it was supposed to be me, you, and Scott.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down and we're gonna talk to this guy.
right, we were going to have a conversation about getting Dad's car back or his
Yeah,
money.
and that would have been bad.
Exactly.
I was already putting my shoes on.
I know, and then Detective Barb calls Russ and goes, No, dude, don't you take them knuckleheads with you down there. No,
Yeah.
let me handle it. Let me handle it.
I called Detective Barb. I said, "Barb, me and Scott and Bo are gonna go talk to this guy," and she's like, "Do not." And she knows Holly with the Better Business Bureau. Talk to the Better Business Bureau first. Let's do this right, and let's get Todd Ulrich involved from Channel 9. And thank God that we did that
Yeah,
plan, because it could have been really bad.
And Jeff Kaufman gets involved. We were talking about it the other day at the Mecum, and Jeff's like, "Well, we got this going on, and we're going to get that son of a bitch and this and
Jeff
that."
Kaufman,
We
the
got-
attorney, yeah.
Yeah, the attorney. He's now the family attorney. And Jeff is like telling us we're going to get him, and we're still working, and we got this going on. I'm like, That some bitch just better be glad we didn't go with Plan A. That's all I got to
Because we
say.
still would have needed him.
Yeah, we would have needed him for other reasons.
For a
but,
different reason.
That guy better be glad we didn't go with Plan A.
So does it feel like you guys feel like it's a new decade, like it's 2020? Does it feel any different?
No.
I never paid attention.
It doesn't, does it?
No, it
same,
doesn't.
same stuff, new. Like the year started off weird with the news stories and everything going on. I'm like, okay, this is
Yeah, are
gonna
we
be
going to war? Like World War III's happening or something? Because
Yeah,
of the Middle
It
East?
was. And
It
now
seemed
it's
like it
not.
for a second, and it's like everybody sort of calmed down. So it's so no, it doesn't feel like a new. It doesn't feel like a decade. It just feels like a Tuesday.
It really does feel
Yeah,
like a
it's
Tuesday.
like-
It's Sunday, but it feels like a Tuesday.
Until we get that flying car, I'm just not going to think we're in the future.
Hey,
A
but
lot of people say
they
that.
had that science show out in Las Vegas, and they do have it's a drone basically
Yeah.
that will take you across town, and it's, Uber has them, and it's a flying car basically is what it is. But you don't actually fly it; they program it, and it takes you up and takes you down. That's kind of
So it's kind of a helicopter without a pilot.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's future enough for me, I guess.
in.
I'll take it.
Those are kind of like helicopters, but they've got like 8 different
So if you're,
What do you ever call 'em?
Yeah, okay. Propellers.
Or when the Uber Eats shows up and it's just a drone that like brings my food, drops it off, and I'm like, okay, now this is the future.
So
This
now
is
if
the
your
new decade.
Uber ride is for 4 is $18.50, and then for the XL is $26.50, what's the helicopter going to be?
Oh, they said it was going to be at the same price as Uber XL.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I need those.
Wow.
We got to arrive in helicopter cars. That's cool.
They have the Uber helicopter in New York that flies you from one airport to the other.
Yeah.
What's
Fly
that?
into JFK and you've got to get to LaGuardia.
Right.
It's like $100.
That's
Wow.
not, I mean,
$200.
yeah, that don't seem too bad if you, to avoid
And you're
traffic.
there in 12 minutes.
Yeah, but boy,
But to arrive in a helicopter is cool.
one hasn't wrecked yet, has it? Not
Who
yet.
knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're gonna keep that on the download. I'm
There's
sure.
a weird stat about airline travel that like you only hear about the big airline crashes or when a plane blows up, but like these things crash all the time. And helicopters, like medical helicopters, have a terrible ratio of like making it. Like they so
Well, if the guy's already dead, what's the point?
yeah, you're
What's the
right.
problem?
You're right. You got a blood clot. That's his fault.
Should have been taking testosterone.
As I was driving, with a blood clot in my leg, I'm like, man, I probably shouldn't be driving,
You
But-
shouldn't be doing all of the things you've been doing,
Well,
man.
here's what the doctor said. The doctor says that listen, the super blood thinner is all you can really do. When you're at home, put your leg up, but that's really all you can do. You got to. It's a 98% chance it's going to work. 2% chance is not, and like you got 2% chance you're going to die.
You're a gambler, though. You've always been a gambler.
And you got 2% chance anytime you hit I-4, right?
I don't know. I
Of
don't
dying?
drive.
I think so.
I'm like you. Unlike you, I don't take testosterone and I don't drive, so I don't have to worry about the 2%.
That's a good point.
Works out for me.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get testosterone a different way.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sure. Why not increase your chances?
Yeah.
Why don't you get a blood clot the other way?
No.
Let's try that.
Yeah, double blood clot.
Knucklehead.
Your leg does look a little better today.
It is. It's feeling
yeah,
better.
yeah,
today.
yeah.
It is
So,
feeling better today.
chili
It's not
cook-off,
bright
you were,
red anymore.
Chili cook-off what?
You were a little sore yesterday at the chili cook-off.
I was yesterday
Yeah.
at Chili. By the way, thank you to everybody that came out to the Crime Line Chili Cook-Off. We won People's Choice, which was awesome. We had a huge line for 2 hours. People stood in the rain to get our
Yeah.
monster cocaine chili, and the gimmick was great. All the credit's got to go to Scotty York. He came
Yeah,
up
the
with
presentation was good, but don't forget about Los.
I love the razor blade. Use the razor blade to put
Oh, with the
Parmesan
CD
cheese.
case, yeah.
and Lover Lowe's coming up there and talking like the
Scarface.
Yeah, Scarface. I
Yeah.
thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was
And
good.
I get to be a judge at that, so that's always fun for me.
Is it really? Because I would think, as I've judged one before, and it wasn't that much fun because you get really full and you taste some really bad chilies.
Well, you taste some bad chilies, but you taste some good ones. And I got to hang out with Sheriff Lima from Seminole County and the chief from Sanford and all the news people. And I have a good time. And the news junkies were all up on stage. So that kind of stuff is fun. And people saying hi and coming up. But you're right. There was some crap chili.
There was one
don't
chili
care.
they were trying to murder people with
Yes.
the heat.
Oh, it was
Yes.
too- it was too hot.
6 million Scoville level or whatever they were doing.
Since I had my surgeries from whatever, my saliva glands aren't 100%. So
You really can't taste
heat-
chili.
No, I can't. No, I can taste. My taste is fine, except heat doesn't bother me anymore. Like I can put hot stuff just doesn't hurt me.
Right.
This hurt me.
Oh, really?
And I'm telling you, everybody on that stage was going, holy crap. I mean, like for the.
So nobody
the
voted for it.
The last three people, the next three people behind that chili,
Yeah.
Can't
probably
taste it,
didn't
yeah.
get a fair stretch
really?
because that crap, that was hot, man. And I'm like,
That one stayed with me for about 15
yeah,
minutes.
I didn't used to like hot stuff. I mean, I never cared about it one way or another. You can't taste it when it's that hot.
Yeah,
It was
no.
It's not good.
ridiculous.
I don't think, yeah.
Ridiculous. And I don't know why they thought it was okay.
So we had, I mean, it's crazy. That was just like the first week of 2020. In the first week, we had the chili cook-off, my death scare. We were out live at the Meekum auction.
Yeah.
The Meekum was cool.
I want to ask you about this, okay? Because this guy, I had to handle a bunch of stuff on Facebook the other night. And there's a little bit of a debate, and I don't like to get into it. It's like a handful of like 5 morons, okay? But it's kind of fun to kind of figure out what the 5 morons are thinking.
Before you block them?
And well, I block and delete just so everyone knows who's listening to this. If you're on the Real Radio page or on the Monster page or on the Russ Rollins page, if you got crappy things to say about anyone on the station, I block you and delete you. You're out. You can talk crap about the radio station anywhere else, just not in our house.
There you go.
Not in our
All
house.
right, I like it.
And if I see someone talking crap about Dirty Jim, they're out. If I see someone talking about anyone on our show, they're out. Someone said something about Savannah, block, delete, you're out. That's not, I'm not going to handle it. But here was the thing, and actually, Ryan, you have a little bit to do with this. So Ryan and Savannah did a very, very funny bit on, was it Thursday?
Friday.
On Friday. They did a really funny bit, and it was all because I think maybe I was talking about dying or something, or I don't forget.
It's because the Orlando Sentinel called me the host of the Monsters in the Morning.
Yeah, they called him the host.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Attaboy. There you go. All this work's paying off.
And so Savannah and Ryan said, we're just going to do a spinoff, and we're going to be Savannah and Ryan in the morning. So they did this whole funny little skit about being Savannah and Ryan in the morning. And they said, and in the setup, they said, well, there's been a lot of spinoffs on the show, and we think we're going to do it too. And then they go on with their bit. So I take the bit and I put it up everywhere because it was really funny, and it was making fun of me and making fun of the show, but it was a really, really clever bit by both those two. And, I'm thinking everybody's going to laugh, right? So
Mimi's talented, man.
don't call him that.
She's going to hit you, man.
But when we put it up, there's a handful, and I say a handful, like a small, like 5 morons, right, who get pissed off because we said there's a lot of spinoffs from the Monsters, because Savannah sets it up that way, a lot of spinoffs. And then there's people like, who are they talking about? Oh, Tom and Dan, they're talking about Dirty Jim, they're talking about this and that, and they're all mad because of the term spinoff. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, that's not a derogatory thing. But I'm asking you, because we haven't talked about this yet, and I want to see what you think about it. In my mind, okay, so you had Happy Days. The spinoff was Mork and Mindy, which had nothing to do with Happy Days when they did its own thing, and it was successful without Happy Days.
Joni Loves Chachi.
And then the Joni Loves Chachi spinoff, exactly.
Laverne
Laverne Shirley spinoff from Happy Days. All those started with Happy Days. Cheers, you had Cheers, and they had the spinoff Frasier.
Right.
Super successful. Frasier had nothing to do with Cheers, but they got their notoriety from the first show, and they went on to be successful without the first show. Okay, to me, that's the definition of spinoff. But there were people, you don't know the definition of spinoff. Those other shows aren't spinoffs. In my mind, like Russ and Bo 2.0 is a spinoff from the Monsters.
Absolutely.
Nobody would know us if we didn't have the Monsters.
Absolutely.
The same thing with Tom and Dan. It's a spinoff, totally different show. They're successful, but they started. People know them because of the Monsters.
You're not going to want to hear what I'm about to say.
That's fine. Same thing with Real Laughs with Monster Comics. Started with us. They spin off to do something else. I don't think it's a slam, and B, I don't understand why anyone would be upset by it.
Well, I'll tell you, and this will depend on how you take what I'm about to say. Everything you just mentioned is a spinoff from Russ and Bo.
Well, yeah, but we changed the name only because we knew you were leaving. But
Okay,
yeah,
but still,
but the original,
it was still the original players in that game were you and me, and it was Russ and Bo
and Jimmy,
and then it became Russ and Bo with Dirty Jim. So the spinoff would be the Monsters and anything else.
Yeah, we only changed it didn't really change.
Hold on. In your theory, it's not a slam.
No,
it's not a difference.
But you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a valid point.
But no. You were still on the show when it was the Monsters.
You're right.
Exactly.
But I always tell everybody.
We just changed the name of the entity.
I'll tell you.
The original name was Russ and Bo. You were still there when it was the Monsters.
Yeah.
But everything else that's from after the Monsters is a spinoff from
Right.
what we did.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Yeah.
I tell everybody that there wouldn't be the Monsters without Russ and Bo.
Well, but you were still part of the Monsters.
I know. We wouldn't have started the Monsters without
It's
Russ
still
and
a
Bo.
Russ and Bo weekend show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He just wants credit for everything, don't he? My goodness.
I mean, take what you just said about everything else. and
Exactly.
Apply it to
See what I'm
yourself.
saying? You see what I'm
Don't take
saying?
it as a slam.
So it's not
Don't
a
take it as a slam.
And now these other people, Tom and Dan did get their start with you.
Yeah.
And this is what I've always said about all of that. All these guys that never liked or didn't like the way or gave you a hard time about the way you did things for that show and with that show end up leaving and talking crap. Those guys are idiots and those guys are assholes. And I'll tell you why. Because without you and what you did, now I knew Russ and Bo was you. I just showed up because I was there to make sure I was your backup. I know the Monsters was you with the rest of the cast that you had formed after that time. But it don't make no bones about it. Russ invited, groomed, and made all of those people the way he wanted them for the show because he's always been about the show. Hence, it might be my last show. So the whole thing is not – what everybody needs to realize is that none of those people would be where they are, in my opinion. Stop. In my opinion, none of those people would have the opportunities that they had if it wasn't for Russ and Bo and it wasn't for the Monsters.
I'm just saying that I don't think saying something as a spinoff is a slam.
It is not.
Or as a negative connotation. I mean, what do you think, Ryan?
I think when putting myself into the shoes of others, when you think that you're working on building something and you've built a show, whatever show it is that came out of it, you're like, well, I did this, and I definitely did this on my own, so this is my thing, and I can see how being called a spin-off would be like, what? No, this is still me, but also the argument of none of these people would know each other, and none of this would be happening without the first thing. So I can see both.
And they got notoriety, though. I mean, everyone got notoriety from something that's bigger than all of us. The Monsters is bigger than me.
Absolutely.
I know we're not allowed to use the
Absolutely.
name if you die, though. It's very rude.
You're not? You own that?
When he was talking about the blood clot thing, he was like, you got to change the name of the show.
Everyone's decided that without me, it's not the same thing. But
Well, there you have it. You just answered your own question.
Well-
Without you, none of this stuff would be the same.
well.
And I'm
that
not
wasn't-
kissing your ass. I'm just telling you.
That wasn't my vote. That was what they were saying. But
'cause it's true.
My point being, though, that the Monster entity that's been a number one show for almost 30 years in this market is bigger than anything. Russ and Bo 2.0, any offshoot that's ever. No one's ever. I couldn't go off and do anything bigger than the Monsters.
But
no one else.
Yeah,
has,
the Russ Rollins show. Yeah, if you went and
Yeah.
did that,
Yeah.
No,
that'd be-
No, that
one's-
wouldn't- no.
No one's been able to go outside of the Monsters and be more successful than that show. That is that's the big entity that we all have been able to be successful from.
And give it up where giving props where props are due. Tom and Dan do their thing in a different format, and they're very successcul.
Yeah, 100%.
They're doing great at what they're
and
doing.
Here's something that someone on that thread was saying, like, "Oh, you're not happy for the other people." Let me just say this once again. I've said it before. I am happy for everybody that has been on the show that has gone on to be successful. Tom and Dan.
Yep.
I've never had a problem, by the way, with Tom. Tom, Van, and I have never had a problem. He and I have always been cool. I have no problem with him. Daniel and I, we probably don't agree on a couple things. I don't like the way he's done some things. He doesn't like the way I've done some things. But that's okay. We're grown men.
That's
Whatever.
exactly right.
It's okay.
It's the business world. You don't have to like everything your competitors do.
But when I see those guys being successful inside, I'm like, I'm proud of those guys. They were part of the show for a long time. God bless them. Same thing with Jimmy. I have no problem with Jimmy. I want to see Jimmy be successful. He's our afternoon show on the station that I love. I have no problem with Jimmy. I want him to do well. The Real Laughs guys, I want them to do well. SBK, he's moved on to do his own show. I want to see him do well. I'm proud of even Tuttle. That's why I squashed that beef with Tuttle. I want to see Tuttle do well. Anyone that's been on the show,
Man, you need
I'm
some
happy.
testosterone.
Huh? Look, that's just the way I live, and that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at
Already getting down
nobody.
to 50 level.
I'm kidding with you.
I ain't mad at nobody, and I'm not walking around being mad at anybody.
No.
But there are people, and it's a handful of morons, who want to stir up some sort of fight between me and people that have left. And first off, it ain't going to work because I ain't fighting nobody.
Right,
And
because you ain't got no testosterone anymore.
And the Monsters are super successful now. We've had the best ratings we've ever had now. Like the show's better now than it's ever been. So anyone that has anything,
Yeah, your
could be
formula keeps changing and it keeps working.
Yeah.
And anybody that takes off from that, is being called a spinoff a problem? No, I disagree, man. I disagree at all. Because it's not being a spinoff's being a spinoff. I mean, you had to start somewhere.
I don't look at it as a slam,
You started this mess out of pure drive and determination to be a radio guy.
But
that was what you wanted to do.
But what I've learned in coming in, this is all very new to me. You guys have been doing this a long time. Is like people will read into things that you say that aren't there.
Yes.
And like defend people that like you're like, whoa, this had nothing to do with that. And so when you like, I 1,000% agree with you. If you come onto our pages, our YouTube channel, Real Radio pages, Monsters page, and you start being a terrible person, yeah, I'm gonna block you. But I got a message it's like, oh, Russ shouldn't be in charge of the Real Radio page. He can't just go and block people. That's because I interact with the rest of the station. I'm like, everybody on that station has admin privileges of that page.
And we're on the
and
same
if you're
team.
gonna be shitty, bye. Like if I'm gonna come to the Real Radio page, it's so I can either let people know what's going on, interact with fans or whatever. But if you're going to be horrible to me on this particular thing, you have an infinite place to go to be terrible.
But just
I agree.
Not in our house.
Not in our house.
Yeah.
What's your line?
Hold on. That's our Facebook page, whether it's the Monsters or Real Radio. It's our Facebook page. And if you're being crappy about anybody on the station, you should be gone. It's a fan page. It's not a page. If you want to say crappy things, go to another station's page and say crappy things about us all you want.
But where do you draw the line at crappy? What's not crappy? What is crappy? If everybody's not positive, if they're unpositive in any stretch.
Yesterday it was. I'm not going to say who. I hate this person's voice. I hope she dies.
Okay, yeah, that's the line. I mean,
You're out.
that's pretty obvious. But if somebody says, I don't agree with Russ's take on spinoff today. What do y'all think? And then everybody says this and this and this and this and this.
As long as it's said, as long as they're not being
So you don't drop people that disagree with you.
No.
You drop people that are ugly to somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
If they're being
All right.
ugly.
No. And listen, I just want to know the line, and maybe somebody will hear the line and not be ugly.
As one woman was like, "Oh, Russ just hates it because he's not relevant anymore." Like, what the?
Yeah.
Blot,
Listen,
delete, you're out.
Well, on the 2.0, somebody said Bo's voice kills my ears. I'm like, okay, well, don't listen.
Great.
The way we started this thing way back was if you don't like it, turn the station.
Now, here's what okay, so you said we're in the line. So with that one, Bo's voice kills my ears. Okay, that's on the line. I'll wait and see if the guy says something else.
Right.
I'll weigh that out.
Okay, and you know what? And I like that. I'm glad that he got his opinion out.
I don't just jump right because okay, Bo's voice. But then when they say, I hope they go away or I hope they die or something like that. It's, But
do you draw the line into somebody's opinion or
leading people from the YouTube channel, Ryan?
What I do generally, if I'm looking at the chat, I will. If somebody says something negative, but I'll try to gauge whether they're trolling, whether they're just being terrible, or they just have an opinion.
Trolling, what does that mean?
Yes.
So some people come from other channels, not even like local radio channels, like just come from YouTube channels, and they'll try to get you to bite and get you to talk to them, and
so that their channel becomes more relevant.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
seeing if they're trolling. A lot of times it's super easy to tell if they're trolling because they'll say something super racist or something horrible, and then but if you just have an opinion for like, I don't like this topic, I'm like, okay, you can definitely have that opinion. But if you're like, Russ is a fat piece of shit who doesn't know anything and he's just the worst.
I wrote that.
I know.
And it's like, okay, you're blocked. The hate is new for me. I've never had hate.
Really?
And like people having opinions about me and all kinds of
Really?
stuff. Well, not so vocal, at least.
Hold on, Scotty's got something to say.
Here's what
This
I
is
love
very
about
rare.
the whole spinoff thing. It wasn't you that said it was a spinoff. It was Ryan and Savannah.
I know.
Nobody hated on them. They all came to you.
That is the funny part. I didn't tell you that. I didn't say they did a bit about the spinoff. I didn't do it. But it's a handful. I mean, 5 people. So we're really giving them way too much energy. But it's like 5 people who are fans of another show.
No, we're not giving them energy.
And what they're doing, and they were just trying to start a problem. But they're like, Russ said it was a spinoff. I never said that. But if you're going to ask me, I think they all are spinoffs, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Exactly. I don't, like I said.
I don't see it as a negative.
It's not a negative
If
thing.
you gained your popularity on the Monsters, but then you spin off and you were successful on your own without me, without the show, that's awesome. That's
Right?
great. Just, look, I think everyone that's been hired on the show has been talented. There's not been one dud in my mind. Not one dud. Everyone has been good at what they do and been good. Some better than others. Some don't.
Some ran their course.
Some ran their course. Don't have their talent they used to have. But everyone at their time was super good. So
Right.
that's the way I look at it.
And I don't disagree. But again, I've always said to this, back when I was hanging windows and working out in the field in the 90-degree weather, carrying doors, you and I'd be talking, and you're like, this guy's doing this, and this guy's saying this. And I'm like, send them some bitches to work with me for a week. Send them to work. Get off your ass, get out from behind that microphone, and come outside and do what the rest of the world's doing. You got UPS drivers who are listening to your shows, driving that truck, hot as hell, running packages all over the place. You got guys out in the field building houses, pouring concrete. You got truck drivers. You got blue-collar guys that are making this country run, listening to what you guys put together every day. When one of them gets uppity, just send them out to do one of those jobs. That's what I've always told you. Just send them out for a week. Say, I got an idea. You don't like what I'm doing? Head on down here and see this guy at so-and-so's nursery. Go ahead and start picking these plants for the people. Go ahead and start. Not that any of this stuff. All this stuff needs to be done. And I'm not belittling blue collar because I was blue collar all my life. But my point is that when you don't get to sit behind a microphone and you start bitching about what the guy that's running it.
There's a lot of those people that have learned that the hard way.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, you get to bitch about the guy that's running it. Go on back out in the real world and do what you're supposed to do.
Hey, so Ryan, how does it work with Facebook? So if you block and delete somebody, they have to open a brand new account in order to be back up, right?
Yeah, you'd have to start a whole new Facebook.
Yeah.
So and for me it works. And I've had people message me and like, hey, what I was doing, I was just like doing a joke and I wasn't being serious. I was just ribbing. Because people do that.
I had somebody email and said, Russ, I said this and it actually said something about Mary Ellen, and he said I was saying that about Mary Ellen, but I was kidding. I'm so sorry. I'm like, okay.
Are they trying to get you to unblock them or?
Yeah, he wanted to know if I'd unblock him, and he said a negative thing about her, and I said, listen, we're not going to talk about my wife like that. I tell you what, I will go and unblock you. But if I see it again, I'll block you. But we're just not going to let that happen.
We'll go to Plan A. Huh? We'll go to Plan A if he does it again.
Like if they want to reason and be reasonable and reason, then because there are times you can read something and maybe take it the wrong way and jump the gun. But
I do that a lot with the texting service. When I'll send back something, I'm like, why the hell would you say that? I'm like, bro, I'm just joking. Like, it doesn't come across nice. So I get it because people are very familiar with us, like because they hear us all day long, and so they feel like they're part of it. They know our lives,
so they can bust balls like we
bust balls. So they'll come up and bust balls, and I think sometimes it does come off like you're like, wow, you're a dick, but on their end they're kind of just awkward and just like trying to fit in and be funny. So. Yeah. If I see that, I'll go back and unblock them. But for the most part,
I've done that before. Yeah. I've done that a handful of times where they'll email me and say, hey, listen, I said this. I saw I got blocked. Here's why. I apologize. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Like I said, that's why I was asking you where the line is. With ugly and opinions, because everybody's entitled to their opinion, and your show, nobody's show would be worth a damn if everybody believed everything you said.
No, but it's not a place for trolls, and that's the difference, right?
Again,
Ryan? It's like, it's not a place for the trolls or the people who just all they have is negative crap to say.
Yeah.
I'm a human being with feelings.
but what sucks is we're talking. I mean, you saw the thousands of people that was at that chili cook-off. Mm-hmm. Thousands of listeners that love the show, love the station, would never say anything negative. And we just spent about 10, 15 minutes talking about this handful, 5 or 6 morons. Yeah. But they're the ones that make you mad, so it makes you emotional.
Well, we're learning from it.
That's the other big thing I learned from doing the show, though. Like hundreds of thousands of people listen, but not everybody interact. Most people don't interact.
Correct.
I talked to somebody who was at the chili cook-off, and they're like, hey, I love you on the show. We've been listening for 26 years. This is the first event we've ever come to.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And I'll tell you,
something else. There was a guy that came and goes, man, I watch you on YouTube every day. And Tanya Morgan was standing there, and she was like, oh, are you in the chat? He goes, no, I don't want to chat, or I don't want to do any of that. I just want to hear and watch. And there's a lot of people that are like that, and that's fine. That's most of the people, you know. So the handful of morons really shouldn't get as
I'm
much
not
attention.
even talking about them. I'm talking about the point that you bring up because of them. Screw those people. Those people you've blocked, we don't have to worry about them ever again. The greatest part that's come out of this for me, in my understanding, is that the line, where is the line? The line is you're not going to get blocked for your opinion.
No.
You're not going to get blocked for saying what you disagree with.
Yeah.
You're going to get blocked when you get ugly. So that's the line, and that's what you learn. And I'll tell you, man, for me, having started and I haven't done the Monsters in over 15 years. I've had some guest appearances. You've allowed me to come in and do whatever, and now we do this. But I haven't been a part of the actual Monster show for over 15 years, and I get people that come up to me every day, almost every day in life, and tell me, man, I listened to you back when you were paying. Man, I listened to you guys back when it was Russ and Bo. Man, I listened to you guys back when you went first in the afternoons. All of that stuff, for me, is the coolest thing you can say. Absolutely, the bottom line, the coolest thing you can say, because they remember then, and they're still around now.
Yeah, a lot of them. Hey, so are we going out anywhere soon? Because that's what Russ and Bo 2.0 in 2020.
We're going to Wakaba Island.
Do we have it? No.
Yeah.
I can't go. I got to rest my leg and get ready for a great week. I mean, we had a great week last week. The show is just, it's just really on a great roll. And I thought maybe with that break it would hurt, but now the ratings are just – we have more people watching us on YouTube than we did it before.
Yeah, we have almost 2,000 more regular watchers on YouTube than last year.
Which is crazy. I thought that break would hurt us, but it did not.
No.
And the
old people got to stay home and figure out how to use YouTube.
Maybe that's what it is. And the ratings for the show are better than ever. So
Congratulations.
I want to keep that thing rolling. But if you need us to come out with Russ and Bo 2.0 and do our podcast out at your place, you can always do that. Just get hold of Scotty York, who handles all of our business.
That's
and
our
go
business
to
manager.
russandbo.com. That's russandbo.com, and he'll have it. Are there any plans to go out anywhere soon? Or
Right now, we don't have anything lined up yet.
Okay.
Christmas to New Year's is just impossible to get a hold of anybody.
Yeah.
So we'll start lining those up now and start getting stuff set up for the end of January.
Yeah, they're always.
Yeah, we like going out to places too, y'all.
It's always fun to go out there.
Because, again, I don't get to do this unless y'all listen. So I want to, if we get to shake hands and kiss babies, I'm in.
What y'all don't know is this is Bo's, when he does the podcast, it's his own little break from work.
It's my break from work, and nobody gets to say nothing. And my bosses at Bill Ray Nissan, y'all can see me there. David and Brian Ray are all big, I shouldn't say fans, but they like me doing this, and it does give me a break.
I bought a car because of your podcast.
See? Nice job.
Hey, you got anything coming up, Ryan Holmes, that you want people to know about?
I do. I will be at Porky's Comedy Club over in Kissimmee this weekend, Friday and Saturday. You can see me there. I'm doing the dry bar comedy. So it's a PG show. It's my first full PG both night show. So no F-bombs or anything like that, if that's always kept you away from a comedy club. But Porky's Comedy Club is part of Jimmy Bear's Barbecue over at Kissimmee, so great food, great comedy.
Jimmy Bear's. Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that this weekend.
Very good. All right, anything else?
Nah, that's it. Just like I said earlier, man, dance like nobody's watching.
Oh, yeah. And donate to my dance thing because
Yeah.
it's, oh, my
Oh,
God.
your
Dance
dance
like
thing.
nobody's
yeah.
watching.
Let's talk
Oh,
about
you got
that.
a dance thing?
Ryan Holmes is
Yeah.
doing a Dancing with the Stars deal.
Oh, attaboy.
But-
Dance like nobody's watching,
Yeah, except
baby.
everybody's watching.
You need to pray nobody's watching.
Yeah.
This guy has no rhythm. Dude, you think I have no rhythm? He has.
I know you have no rhythm.
I know. And I actually found my dance video that I did some years in 2015 because I want to compare it to his dance when he does it. And so I showed him my dance video. So you got to be better than that.
You know what? You did a good job, but it's like I was telling you earlier, it's a lot of you standing there and
100%.
and they're dancing around
and
you.
Abby does all the work.
Yeah.
Dance like it's your last
But
show.
my dancer wants me to do this super complicated swing dance jive thing.
I saw you trying to do it. I couldn't do it either.
God, I've been practicing it all weekend, and it's not going to happen.
What she was
It's
trying to make
just
you
not.
do, I know I couldn't do. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't have that and I actually have some rhythm because I played the drums. But you have white boy
It's
There
bad.
he goes.
I-
There he goes with the racist again.
Bo, he can't clap his hands.
You give me an instrument, and I'm good. You tell me I have to use my feet in anything, it's not going to happen.
He plays
that's
guitar
funny.
and he plays piano.
There's no hip
No
movement
rhythm.
in the guitar. I'm good.
But when he's dancing, he puts his hands like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But anyway,
So,
that's coming up soon. If people want to donate and help you at least with the fundraising part of it.
yeah, go to monsters.fm. There's a picture of me and Faven, and it goes right to the donation page. And if you donate $25 or more, you get an automatic ticket to the event, which is at Hard Rock Live. So
Nice.
So do that.
Nice.
All right. Hey, listen, we ain't got to go home.
But we got to get the hell up out of here. Shrills.